Good evening and welcome to the December 15th, 2021 Wareham Conservation Commission meeting. Present are members Kwame, Diane, Mike, Elisa, Denise, sorry, Denise, and Carol, and Ron, and Agent Dave Bichette.
Notice of public hearing.
And put it
It
down.
is on, but I
Put it
better
down.
get it. Is that better?
Yes.
Notice of public hearing pursuant to the provisions of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Wareham Wetland Protective Bylaw, Division 6. Public hearing will be held in Room 320, Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. On Wednesday, December 15th, 2021, at 6:30 p.m. On the notice of intent for Alan Tosi, care of Environmental Consulting and Restorations, LLC, P.O. Box 4012, Plymouth, Mass. 02361. To upgrade a septic system located on Assessor's Map 18, Lot 0 and 1007, 94 Great Neck Road, Wareham, Mass.
Is there anyone here to represent this project?
Cold in here. I like it. All right, great.
Thank you.
That'll work.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
You want my sweatshirt? It's a little lighter.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And just your name for the record, please.
Good evening, members of the commission. Brad Holmes with ECR here on this application.
All right, Brad, Mr. Bichette will read to the project.
The project site is at 94 Great Neck Road. The project involves replacing an existing cesspool with a new Title V septic system. So the existing cesspool is to be replaced with a new system. I did have a question as to whether or not this is going to be a nitrogen-reducing system, because I didn't notice it on the plan, if it is. The cesspool would be pumped out and crushed in place, and the new system would be approximately 67 feet to the edge of the wetland. There does not appear to be any significant grade changes proposed on the project. Silt fence is proposed between the work and the resource area. I would recommend using both silt fence and hay bales for the erosion control. We did get a DEP file number for the project, so I would recommend the issuance of the order of conditions with the standard conditions, including the hay bales and silt fence.
Brad?
Thank you, Dave. As Dave said, we're looking to upgrade the septic system here and bring this site into compliance with Title V and eliminate the existing cesspool and put a new Title V system in. The recommendations that Dave had are appropriate, and we're in agreement with the erosion controls as required. And I think it's simply put a septic system upgrade in the buffer zone. It is also within land subject to coastal storm flowage, but overall it's a environmental betterment.
Questions on the board? Kwame?
No questions, thank you.
Denise? Mike?
Not at this time, thank you.
Elisa?
No, thank
Carol?
No questions.
And I have no questions.
I just had the one question. Do you know if this is going to be a nitrogen reducing, or have you been before the Board of Health yet or not yet?
We have not, that I know of.
Okay.
And I know it's not noted on the site plans to be nitrogen reducing. I can follow up with you,
Yeah, I think it's
after.
probably going to be required that it has to be. But either way, it's fine. I recommend the approval of it. So we'll just wait to see if the Board of Health makes that change. And if so, if we could just get an updated plan.
For sure.
Yeah.
And is there anyone in the audience to speak for or against this project?
Move to close the hearing.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Wait a minute.
Wait.
No,
We
no,
haven't
no.
done
We move now to accept the project.
I move that we accept the project with a standard order of conditions, with an addition of hay bales added to the silt beds. And what else?
He's also going to check if it's a nitrogen
Correct.
reducing system.
But he would have to come back to us with a
Speak to Dave
change of
and
plan if that
Well-
is.
That's it.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks again, I wanted to.
Your project
double
is
up on the
approved.
Thanks,
Please see Dave before you start any of the work.
6 of
for
it.
sure. Thank you, have a good night.
good night. Okay, notice of public hearing.
Hold on 1 second before we
Wait,
go
wait.
on to the next one.
Says to go back.
So we have several continued hearings tonight. I just want to call them out, so if anybody is here for them, just so that you know they will be continued. Tech Associates Railroad Corridor is going to be continued. LSE Hydra LLC is going to be continued. Deborah Koshevis, 76 Pinehurst Drive is going to be continued. Scott and Laura Christofoli is going to be continued. Mark Connolly is going to be continued. And Wareham PV1 LLC is going to be continued. So if you're here for those projects, we won't be speaking on them tonight.
How about David Andrade?
We didn't get a notice on it, so we'll just wait and see if they show up. They didn't send in a continuance request.
All right, we are at a notice of a public hearing. Pursuant,
Pull your mic over. I can't hear you.
notice of public hearing pursuant to the provisions of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Wareham Wetland Protected Bylaw, Division 6. A public hearing will be held in Room 320, Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. On Wednesday, December 15th, 2021, at 6:30 p.m. on the notice of intent for Herbert Ashley, care of GAF Engineering, Inc., 266 Main Street, Wareham, Mass. 02571, to construct a dwelling with associated site grading and utilities located on Assessors Map 62, Lot 1011, 142 Fearing Hill Road, Wareham, Massachusetts.
Good evening. Your name for the record, please.
Good evening, Brian Grady, GAF Engineering.
Good evening, Brian. Dave will speak to the project.
So this project site is at 142 Faring Hill Road, and this project involves the construction of a new single-family dwelling with associated grading, septic system, and utilities at this site, some of which is in the buffer zone to wetlands associated with an existing agricultural farm pond. So there's a 28 by 42-foot dwelling proposed at the site, along with a new septic system, which would be outside the buffer zone to the wetland. There is some grading shown around the house in an effort to create a walkout basement type setting, which would also involve the construction of some retaining walls as shown on the plan. All of the work is outside the 30-foot no activity zone for the site, and there will be erosion control placed between the work and the resource area as shown on the plan. The existing house that's there would ultimately be removed from the site. We did get a DEP file number for this project, and so I would recommend the approval of the project with the standard order of conditions.
Anything further to add?
Nothing to add, if I can answer any questions you may have.
And I'll take questions from the board. Kwame?
So the house is going to be total like a demo, and then you're going to be upgrading, obviously septic and all the other good stuff.
Yes, the house, the existing house is outside the buffer zone. There has been some discussion about a total demo. It partially might be demoed and some of it retained for storage, but it won't be a living area.
Denise?
No questions.
Mike?
Yes, just one question. This seems to be a pretty big lot. Where is any construction equipment going to be stored during the construction of this new house?
Well, there's the parking area, there's the paved area over by the existing garage, there's lots of areas outside the buffer
Because
zone.
I was just concerned about that pond, the pond that's adjacent to the to the lot, the house rather. That's all.
Yeah, most likely you'll be up on around the existing drive area, that's the higher ground, it's paved, it's a good surface to park vehicles.
All right, thank you.
Elisa?
None.
Carol?
No questions.
The only question I have is, so you say there was potentially going to be a partial demo of the existing dwelling. As they demo, are they going to be removing the materials off-site as they demo, or are they planning on waiting until all demo is completed?
I imagine it would be the typical demo, they'd have a dumpster on site, put everything directly in the dumpster rather than move it twice or 3 times.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience that wants to speak for or against this project? Seeing and hearing none, I'll
Move
take a motion to close.
Close the hearing.
Second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And now I will take a motion on the project.
I move that we accept the project with a standard order of conditions.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstained? None? 600. Project is approved. See Dave before you start any of the work.
Very good, thanks very much.
5.
So now we're going to move on to the continued hearings. First hearing was Tech Associates, but they have requested a continuance. Dave, I think they had a date on there. Was it 1/19?
Yes, that's correct. January 19th meeting.
I'll take a motion on that continuance.
So moved.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second.
Aye.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? None? The next one is also a continued hearing for LSE Hydra LLC. I believe they requested the next meeting, which is 1/5.
Second. Sorry.
So moved.
Now, motion to approve
Got a
the
motion and a
meeting.
second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? None? The next one is going to be 76 Pinehurst Drive has also requested a continuance. I believe that was also 1/5, Dave?
Correct.
Motion to approve the meeting to 1/5.
Second.
I have a motion and a second.
To
All in
continue.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next is White Family Trust.
Thank you.
Good evening. Can you just have you state your name for the record, please?
Good evening, Brad Rotolo, JC Engineering.
Good evening, Brad. Dave will speak to the project.
Okay, so this project site is at 42 Charlotte Furnace Road, and this project also is a septic system upgrade. The existing septic tank and leach pit would be replaced with a new Title V nitrogen-reducing septic system. The new system would be approximately 81 feet to the edge of the wetland. There are no significant grade changes proposed. Hay bales and silt fence would be installed between the work and the wetland. We did receive a DEP file number for this project. At the last meeting, we did not have that. That's why we continued the hearing. And so at this point, I would recommend the issuance of the order of conditions with the standard conditions for the project.
Brad?
That basically covers it. Thank you.
I'll take questions from the board. Kwame?
No questions.
Denise?
No questions.
Mike?
None here, I'm good.
Elisa?
I have none.
Carol?
No questions, thank you.
And I have no questions. Anybody here in the audience to speak for or against this project? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to close the hearing.
Second?
Motion to close the hearing.
Close the hearing in a second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I will take a motion on the hearing.
Move to accept the project with the standard conditions as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? None? Hearing none. 600. Your project is approved. Please see Dave before you start any of the work.
Will do, thank you.
Thank you.
Next one on the list is 9 Lydia's Islands Road. They have also requested a continuance. Was that 1-5, Dave?
That one has been requested to the 19th,
Oh.
January 19th meeting.
Motion to continue January 19th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The next one is Mark Conley, lot 1032 B Shell Lane. That has also been requested as a continuance, Dave.
That's correct for the January 5th meeting.
Motion.
Motion to continue to January 5th.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The next one on the list is David Andrade, 69 Great Neck Road. We did not receive a request on this one, but I do not see anyone.
No, we didn't get a formal request, but as we see, there's no one here, so I would recommend the continuance to the next meeting on the 5th.
I'll take that motion.
Second.
No, you have to make the motion.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Motion to continue January 5th.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next one is Wareham Mass 3 LLC, 191 and 101 Faring Hill Road. That has, was there a request on that one? I don't think so, right?
No, but then I would say the same thing, just continue to the next meeting.
I'll take up that motion.
Motion to continue to January 5th.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Second.
Aye.
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 And then we have Wareham PV1 LLC, 0 Route 25, and I believe that one was actually a requested continuance
That is correct.
to, was it 1/5 or 1/19?
1/5,
Motion to continue to January 15th.
Second?
January
January
5th,
5th.
5.
January 5th.
Second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
January 5th.
Next is extension requests. Peak Contractors LLC, 30 12th Street. Dave?
This is a request for an extension. This is a project to construct a single-family home on this lot. It's currently under construction, but their order is going to expire in the near future, so they are requesting a 1-year extension to finish the project, so I would recommend the issuance of the 1-year extension on that.
I will take a motion.
Move to extend 1 year for the single-family dwelling.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Enforcement orders. Dock House LLC, 28 Winship Avenue. David?
This is in reference to the violation at 28 Winship Ave, which involved the installation of some pilings with no permits. At the last meeting, the applicant was here and stated they were in the process of getting an engineer to address the problem, and they did send a letter stating they are contracting with an engineer and should have their application submitted in January. So that email was sent to everyone late in the day. So I would say at this point, there's not much else to do on this one until we see the notice of intent.
So we're just going to, we're just gonna not act on this at the moment and just,
Right, it was just on the agenda for a discussion to make sure that we did get some sort of a response. As we dealt with this a couple of meetings ago, we gave them till this meeting to say if they had somebody on board, so that's why I put it on the agenda, so. Just
So
for an
we'll
update.
so we'll just wait, we'll see what comes up in either the January 5th meeting or the 19th. See if they come up with something by then.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be in touch with them on that.
And then we have one certificate of compliance. It's for Richard and Kim McNair at 34 Mayflower Ridge Drive.
Okay, that's all right. This project at 24 Mayflower Ridge Drive involved the construction of a garage in the buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland. The project has been completed according to the order of conditions, so I would recommend the issuance of the certificate of compliance for this project.
I'll take a motion.
I move that we approve issuing a certificate of compliance for this project.
Second.
I have a motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor?
6-0. Aye. I'm writing it. talking at the same time.
6-0-0. I do not believe that there's anything else on our agenda this evening. Everything has been continued. It's a Christmas miracle.
Aren't you supposed to update us on the, is it the
Solar
solar
bylaw.
bylaws?
Sandy had asked him to update her on the solar bylaws, I believe, not at the meeting.
So I would reference Miss Nancy if she would like to come up. No?
I'm not listening.
Oh, sorry. I can't tell with the mask.
No, I'm the other half.
The other half, yeah. I couldn't tell with the mask.
Okay.
Kathy Pappalardo, Faring Hill Road. The only reason I was here because we just keep an eye on the project, the solar, potential solar project on Faring Hill Road.
The 91 and 101.
So just wanted to make sure. And then when I realized no one else is in the room, I said, wow.
So,
We did too.
so from what I know, I haven't been able to attend a lot of the meetings because of scheduling conflicts and the time that they're having the meetings. But from email threads that I've seen, they did have a public comment meeting last week. And there were some comments that came in. There was also another comment that was forwarded today from Nancy. They're doing a lot of research in other towns as far as what their bylaws are. I know the Cape Cod Commission has done a lot of work on a, I don't want to call it a blanket bylaw, but there's some really good material in some bylaws that they have down the Cape. And there's been a lot of work into it, and I know that there's research being done in that. There's talks of potentially another public comment meeting. I'm hoping that we can schedule it for a later time in the day, because I did receive a lot of phone calls after that meeting asking why it was so early. So hopefully we'll be able to do one later when people are home from work, because there was a lot of interest in this bylaw and what's going into it. And I think that the public's comment and feedback is going to be very important into what we ultimately come up with, and hopefully will pass at the town meeting. So that's kind of what I have for an update. I know that there's a lot of hard work going into it with everybody that's on that committee, putting in hours of research and time and phone calls and meetings and conversations. It's definitely something not being taken lightly, and I think it's going to help us as a town move forward with a lot of these projects that are coming in, especially when it comes to solar. And there seems to be new solar projects popping up every day, you know, whether it's farms, houses, land. So I'm definitely excited to see where we go with it, but there's still a lot of work to be done to come up with a framework, but there's a basis, and now it's just going to be built on.
I think one of the main things too is that it has to really be described so people can understand it. Things like the solar credits that this town has from Plymouth. I mean, nobody really understands why, or understands why, with a good lawyer, you can't get out of that contract. I mean, how long is that contract for? 25 years?
30 years, depending
Maybe.
upon
Maybe. I don't know. Do you know that? It's 25, 30 years?
a contract with a solar company.
Well,
Or,
yeah.
I mean,
She's
Jen-
talking
No,
about
but these
something
are
for the town specifically, so I don't
oh,
know.
yeah, I don't know
Right.
the details or answers on that. I thought you were just talking about specifically if somebody you know,
No.
wants to do a project, what kind of,
One would think that it would be that long, but they're now giving you a little reason what they're going to do when the solar farm is no longer producing or isn't producing enough. But are they? And really, what is that? So my point is that the general public really needs to know what all these things are, or has to be told.
I agree that it needs to be transparent and put in layman's terms for people to understand.
Yeah.
Because it becomes lawyer language and you just don't know what it is. And that's when things can really go the wrong way.
Well, it makes people unhappy.
So, this is not really, kind of pertaining to this, with a big company this size, like a solar company, like how long can we just like keep continuing these
Yeah.
continuance and
So
continuance?
I think it's interesting that you bring that up, because I know that if we as a commission don't give them the ability to and make a decision quickly, it can, you know, look negatively on us.
Yeah.
But there's not really anything on the other side that doesn't stop them from continuing and continuing and continuing.
Yeah, understood, but I'm just thinking, you know, that one day that they do show up, and guess who won't be around to answer any questions, we're gonna be getting hammered. So it's like, you know, these continuance, and then it's not, I don't think it's kind of fair,
Well,
but,
some of the continuances are due to information that's being generated sometimes by others, not the applicant, that they're waiting for. For example, review by the town engineer or whatever other information another committee may want. So there's some of that, and there's potentially some information that the applicant's been requested to provide that hasn't been put forth yet. So that's kind of why we're getting the continuance request. It's not necessarily just because they're pushing it off.
It's not like they're waiting for us to all be sick and only having 4 members of the
Yeah.
commission to make a decision. But to your point, there, you're right. I mean, there's a lot of valid reasons why a lot of these are continued, but for some, there might not be, a great reason, but at the end of the day, they're still entitled to being able to continue for whatever reason. They could be sick, they could, be out of town, whatever it is.
Also,
I also think that there's a difference between when they request a continuance and when they just don't
And when they
show
just
up.
don't show up. That's,
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
you would think, that there would be, courtesy on both sides to, make that request so that we can plan accordingly, but, it's one of those things that's not really, if you don't request it, it'll still be continued, so it's, it's not in black and white paper saying you have to do it. Anything else?
Do you want to be brought up on what's going on with the minutes?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Basically, it's hanging. I sent 2 emails to Mr. Sullivan requesting a meeting. I have not heard back from him, but Sandy has now
I
requested.
think she's requested to be part of that meeting.
She has asked to be part of that meeting, and David would also like to be part of that meeting. So I think we're going to end up putting it off until January.
Yeah, because she won't be here the next
And
meeton also.
Mr. Pichette is not available also until sometime in January.
Are you going on vacation?
Exactly.
Whoa, where are you going, Dave?
No, listen,
Is that allowed?
conservation does not sleep.
Yeah,
Where are you going?
I'm not really going anywhere, just not going to be.
He's just getting out of the office.
Yeah, he's getting a mental vacation and he needs one. Everybody needs that break.
Make sure you
So
do
can-
something fun, so
Could I
it's
move
not
that we
just
close the meeting?
You can move, and I can take a second on that.
I'll second it.
So I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Merry
Kathy?
Christmas.
Happy holidays.
7:01.